Hey, good evening, everyone. I'm Mayor Pro Tem Fred Brink. I'm filling in this evening for Mayor Brent Gary as he is out of the office on vacation this week. And it is 6 p.m., so I will call the July 15th, 2025 meeting of the West Richland City Council to order. And before we get started, I'm going to ask our city clerk, Stephanie Haug, to read the hybrid meeting ground rules and then call roll for the city council.
You. Tonight's meeting will be held in person with a virtual meeting component. If you are participating virtually, please make sure the name shown at the bottom of your video view is the name you would like the Mayor Pro Tem to use. You can change this by right-clicking on the three dots in the upper corner of your video view and clicking Rename. Audience members present in the council chambers will be called upon first during public comment periods. Those participating remotely should virtually raise your hand if you wish to speak. To virtually raise your hand, click on Participants and then click on Raise Hand. If you are participating by phone only, press *9 to raise your hand. Please limit comments to 3 minutes. All right, roll call. Richard Bloom?
Here.
Fred Brink?
Here.
David Fetto?
Here.
May Hayes?
Here.
Kate Moran?
Present.
John Smart?
Here.
Ken Stoker?
Here.
And as the Mayor Pro Tem mentioned, Mayor Gary is out of town on vacation.
All right. Thank you very much, Stephanie. Given Mayor Gary's absence, may I have a motion, council, to excuse Mayor Gary?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to excuse Mayor Gary. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion carries. All right. Before we move to tonight's agenda, I would just first like to introduce actually our new police chief, Mr. James Fry. He is the new police chief with nearly 3 decades of law enforcement experience, having most recently served as the police chief at Moscow, Idaho. He's known for his dedication to community policing and public service, and Chief Fry has built a reputation for strong leadership, integrity, and a deep commitment to the communities that he has served. We're excited to have Chief Fry, our new chief, leading our department and continuing the commitment to safety, accountability, and partnership with the residents of West Richland. And I also want to recognize that our acting Chief Crown, who is in the interim after Chief Grego departed on leave, I want to thank him as well for his service during the past several months. But I'd like to give you, Chief Fry, a couple moments, if you would, to introduce yourself. Whatever you prefer, Chief.
Mayor Pro Tem and Council, first of all, thank you for selecting me as your new chief. And I do want to thank Steve Crown for coming in and preparing and paving the way for the future. And to the community, we will continue to have community policing at the top of our list, and we will continue to serve you with the best we can. And like I said, 30 years of law enforcement, I bring a lot to the table, and I'm hoping to bring a lot of that to West Richland and help promote us into even a more professional organization than we already are. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Welcome aboard. And now as we get started with the agenda, I will ask Councilmember Smart to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Councilmember Smart.
My pleasure.
Council, you have an agenda before you. Are there any changes to the agenda? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
And I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries. All right, we'll start with the consent agenda. And tonight's consent agenda includes payment of bills, approval of regular minutes from June 17, 2025, Ordinance 1725 relating to speed limit on SR 224 Van Giesen, West Van Giesen, to amend the West Richland Municipal Code, Section 10.08.030. We have Resolution 3225, authorizing the mayor to execute First Amendment to reimbursement agreement with Frank Teagues LLC. We also have Ordinance 1725, accepting donations policy. Yeah, I got it. I skipped one, I'm sorry. So I went back to that, but here we go. Motion authorizing staff to submit Public Works Trust Fund loan applicant for Belmont Reservoir Project. Motion authorizing staff to submit Transportation Improvement Board Arterial Preservation Program and Urban Arterial Program grant applications. Motion authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with Flock Group LLC for security cameras for park restrooms. Motion to award the lift station retrofit project. Motion to award 2025 street striping project. Motion to approve the meeting cancellation for August 5 for National Night Out. Motion to approve an amended vehicle lease with FCI for police department vehicles. Motion to approve an agreement with U.S. Bank Investor Advisor Services, and also a motion to authorize staff to apply for the GISA Heroes Grant for equipment. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment on the consent agenda? Seeing none, is there anyone online who would also like to comment on the consent agenda? Seeing none, council, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve.
Sorry, we do have a hand that just went up.
I see that. Thank you very much, Stephanie. Ms. Brown, you wish to comment on the consent agenda? Go ahead, please, and kindly limit your comments to 3 minutes.
On 6C, accepting donation policy, I think that you had a policy written up. It was put in the council conduct book. I don't remember how it was done, but I think this is like the second one. That's it.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Brown. Do I have seeing no other comments, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second. I have motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries. We now have our first citizen public comment period, and you have the opportunity to provide comments for items not on the agenda this evening. If you wish to provide comments, I ask you to come to the podium, state your name and address, and you will have 3 minutes to provide your comments. Please remember that City Council cannot respond to questions during the comment period, and that this time frame is for comments not related to items on the agenda. I'll ask for comments about agenda items at the time they are discussed. And if you would, sir, please introduce yourself, name and address for the record.
Good evening. I'm Jerry Boggs. I live at 1802 Maplewood Avenue. So I'm here this evening to give you my comments on the fireworks issue. Several people are here for the same purpose. And I've talked with David about it, so he knows probably where I stand. In my opinion, the primary job for you, the City Council, and its first priority should always be to protect the citizens from all harmful activities. Instead, this council has chosen to use surveys which purportedly show a somewhat even distribution of pro-fireworks and anti-fireworks citizen opinions. This council has chosen to allow one segment of our population, that is the recreational public, fireworks users, to do actual harm to another segment, i.e. the rest of us, through the use of fireworks over the July 4th 3-night period. Outside of my normal comments, I know that because I'm right in the middle of the aerial fireworks area. My home actually vibrates. My windows vibrate. So far, I haven't had any fireworks debris, so I'm more fortunate than some people. In addition to the noise stress placed on pets and those citizens averse to unpredictable and overly loud noise, this year, i.e. 2025, shows the capability of fireworks to cause several fires in our community, which could have led to personal injury and even death. We were lucky. However, the suppression of these fires did cost taxpayer funds, which was too bad. So I propose that the city council study alternatives that are working in other cities and that satisfy the desire to use or experience safe fireworks. Other cities are doing that. It seems therefore unjust and poor service to us, the citizens, that this city is not. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Kathleen Aaron Royds. I live at 107 North 68th Avenue in West Richland. I'm here to add my voice to the fireworks issue. I'm as patriotic as anybody here, but I think that it's not a common sense way of celebrating the 4th to live in a desert and have 14 booths selling fireworks in our community. It just seems unreasonable. And as a deaf person myself, I wear cochlear implants. I was actually terrified to go to sleep because I was afraid that a fire would break out and who would be able to inform me that I needed to evacuate. So I barely could sleep during those days. And I just don't think that that's a very wise use of city resources to have so many fires and police calls regarding the fireworks. I think that if we had a community display done by professionals, it could be called off if we had extreme heat like we've been having the last couple of days. Because if we had this kind of extreme heat on the 4th, people would still blow off their fireworks. And if it was windy, they would still do it if it's allowed. And we could have a fire like Pacific Palisades. And I think that it would be better to prevent a tragedy by changing rules as opposed to just allowing this to go on. And I just came here from Nevada, and in Nevada, they do not allow this, and it's perfectly quiet except at the parks. So I think that we should, follow that model and just change the laws. Thank you.
I'm going to get up real close so you can hear me. My name's Deborah Humphreys. I live 4705 Collins Road. And I think we need to update and enforce our restrictions on fireworks or ban them. I also did send everybody an email, so you're probably familiar with what I'm going to say anyways. But we should stop selling fireworks to teenagers. I got a real issue with that. I don't know what they're buying, but I know they don't have money to pay for it, any damages they do. And stop blowing up fireworks over neighbors' homes, their properties and families, and all the BLM lands. And our PTSD veterans deserve better. Pets are medicated, some of them for 4 days because of recreational fireworks. And it's time to exercise some common sense, West Richland. West Richland's increased population cannot safely explode fireworks in town, and that we're not in Mayberry anymore. The fireworks are too sloppy. They're too irresponsible being used by people, too large of a town to cover the whole area with such a small enforcement that we have. Too dry, too windy, too short-handed with the police and the fire department, too many days for fireworks. I know we're only allowed 3, but it's more like 7. We all know that. Too extreme for aerials, and too many pockets of BLM lands that's located in West Richland. It's just a bad decision in my eyes. But most importantly to me is how soon will it be when homeowners can't be able to renew their insurances due to the risk of uncontrolled fireworks and the increased fires in this area. This is happening in Benton City right now. And can you wrap your head around paying higher premiums because of the risk that we carry? Or or not have coverage at all. I have a real problem with that. And no one wants to lose their home. No one wants to lose any family members or their town. And recreational displays should never supersede property, homes, and lives, period. And there is no way in hell that we can protect our homes in this town with the amount of fireworks that get blown off with garden hoses in a wildfire. It's just not going to happen. So who's going to be the lucky ones in this town that's going to be able to receive help from our limited as fire assistance that we do have? It's hard to cover 71 fires when you only got a few people.
Ms. Humphries, we're at 3 minutes.
Can we?
Yep.
2 more sentences. This
Please,
subject-
you'll have an opportunity later on if you wish to add more comments.
I say leave it to the profession.
Hi, I'm Bob Humphries. I live in the same house as Debbie. We've got a light pole out front in the driveway, right in the driveway beside Collins. And you can reach up about this high and feel the alligator char, the fire from years past. The telephone pole burned. The cedar fence around the place, it's burned. The neighbor across the street set the field on fire one day. It burned. We've got, you stand down there, you stand almost anywhere in West Richland and you look around and you can see yellow grass that is back pockets deep. The wind that was blowing the 4th of July, it's like a combustion air preheater in a furnace. I got 100 more talking points, but I'm not going to beat this drum ad nauseum because this isn't even the meeting to talk about fireworks. But there's a problem. The celebration in West Richland has morphed into the bombardment of West Richland. It's a problem.
Thank you, Mr. Humphries.
Nancy Aldridge, 3405 South Lake Drive. Fireworks have been an issue for the last 39 years that I've lived in West Richland. Some are for it, some are against it. Myself, I go to bed at 9 o'clock. It doesn't bother me. However, I know it does bother a lot of other people. We could ban fireworks in West Richland, but that's not going to stop them because of that gentleman over there at the end. Sorry. We don't have the police personnel to enforce any ban. As you can see in Richland, Kennewick, and Pasco, they still do the aerials. They still shoot the fireworks, yet they're not allowed there. So we have to come to some common ground to start banning them. And that is maybe, if you want to shoot fireworks, it's a $10 permit. And with that permit, you have to have a pail of water to put the burnt fireworks in. And I understand this may not work, but a running hose. That way, then the police officers have a digital file, and those who don't have the permit can have their fireworks confiscated and a fine. You're not going to be able to ban all fireworks. I hate to tell you that, but you can start working towards that in baby steps. And at some point, it may help. Thank you.
So I'm Elizabeth Gulovich. I live at 3675 Andalusian. And a lot of folks have already told you a lot of reasons why, but I wanted to share my personal experience with the 4th of July. My family recently moved. We had lived on South Highlands a couple of years ago. And this last fall, we moved to Andalusian thinking bigger, beautiful house with acreage, which is fantastic, except for 4th of July. So we had been enjoying watching the fireworks until 9 o'clock when there was a fire at our neighbor's house due to fireworks. Police and fire came got it down, so it was safe. But from 9 o'clock until 11 o'clock, we were watching 360 all night, waiting for a fire. And another one happened at 11 o'clock. My husband, James, who's online, he sent you guys an email with a video link to a YouTube video that shows footage from our house where you can see an aerial that didn't go off in the air. It went off at the ground and it set a fire, dry grass near our property. And so we could watch it start and then come closer to our house. There's a neighbor who is really close, and had that wind shifted just slightly, her house would have been gone. Our property would have been on fire. The police showed up in 10 minutes and knocked that one down. But before they showed up, we had our cars packed. We had the kids in the car. We had one of our pets in the car because the other one was scared and hid. So from our perspective, we had just bought this beautiful new house, beautiful new property. And now we are scared when sirens go off, when we hear booms. We don't feel safe in our house during the fireworks season now. So I would really appreciate the council taking time to have a look at our requirements. I would love full ban. I also understand that that would be challenging. So just look at it and see if we can take it down. 16 fireworks stands in the city is way too much. It was a lot more than I have seen in my 10 or 12 years living in West Richland, and it's just frightening. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I didn't come here for the fireworks deal, but I will do a little bit of talking since I am a fireworks man. I own a couple of stands here, me and my son.
Would you mind stating your name?
Yes,
sir?
my name is Dan Youngs, address 811 Snow Avenue. I actually live in Richland. But I've been selling fireworks out here since 1995. So quite a few years. I've seen Safe and Sane fireworks and people wanted to ban those. I've seen aerial fireworks. Now we're talking about banning those. But there's really no way that you're going to ban any kind of fireworks here. We have the Indian Reservation that's just 38 miles down the road. Look at Richland, they have Safe and Sane. Kennewick has Safe and Sane. Pasco has Safe and Sane. Yet the aerials are in the sky. So the thing about having them outlawed is when somebody starts a fire, they just run away because they don't want to get caught with an outlawed firework. And now, if somebody starts a fire, they're going to call 911 and get some emergency, help out there right away. So it's, I understand people that don't like loud noises. I understand that there is some fire risk. And I think the key to it is at our stand, and we've been trying to educate people more and more, is how to safely do fireworks. A lot of people aren't policing their young teenagers. I get that. And they're doing a little bit of crazy stuff. But I think with an education program at the point of sale itself, we should be able to make a difference and keep the fire danger down to a very minimum. And that's all I've got to say.
Thank you, sir.
So I'm Stephen Youngs. I got a business interest at 4546 West Van Giesen. Home address is 1512 Potter Avenue. That's in Richland, not here in West. I wasn't prepared to talk today, but I just a couple points that I've seen a lot online recently and I've heard in here. I agree with my father that Dan's my dad. I agree with him that some more education could go a long way. As a certified pyrotechnician, I could definitely help the city council develop a program, and I'd be willing to do that. Just tossing that out to you guys. But I don't want to fall for the fear mongering. I don't want to fall for the sky is falling because we had a bad year, which in my opinion, it wasn't even a bad year. We didn't lose structures. We didn't lose lives. We didn't have major injuries that I've heard about. We did have a lot of sales revenue come into the city. We've had a lot of happy people in the city. I mean, if you just looked in the sky anywhere from dark till midnight, you could see that a lot of people are very happy with what is going on in place right now. And I think, I would hate to see a knee-jerk reaction based on a few folks. That's all I got to say. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in-house that would care to make a comment? Do you want to speak in tandem? Go ahead, yeah,
The same.
that's fine, whatever's more
My
comfortable.
my
for
name
you.
is Ann Roberts.
Right.
I live at 3395 East Lake Court. Thank you to the 5 of you who are actually paying attention. I appreciate it. I was here several years ago complaining about, and it's not fireworks anymore. Where we live, it's explosions. Explosions, bombs. So don't call it fireworks, call it what it is. I tried to find out how much money the city makes from 16 stands, why you allow 16 stands, but I couldn't find out. All I could find out was that you make $100 for each permit. That's what, $1,600 you make? And I don't know if you make other revenue from that, having 16 stands. The other cities have 5, 6. West Richland doesn't look good if anybody cares about that. I have more to say, but that's basically, I'm so mad I can't speak right. But my husband has some information he'd like to give to each of you. I don't know if we can approach.
If you can provide it to the city clerk. Mr. Roberts, if you would, you can deliver the information, then take the podium so everyone can hear you.
Thank
If
you
you'd
so
like to
much
speak.
to those of you who actually heard me.
All right. Yeah. Mr. Roberts, do you care to make comment at the podium?
Yeah.
I did at the podium, please, sir, just so everyone can hear.
Maybe I'm not thinking this through all the way, but I moved here in 1950 when I was 12 years old, my parents, and we moved to Richland, and West Richland didn't exist, but it was Heminger City and Enterprise. And at that time, it seemed like those two cities had a reputation for, well, if you don't want to obey the law, you move to those towns, anything goes there. It seems like that same mentality is carried on to this day, even though it doesn't look the same as it did back then. But anyway, back to the fireworks. It's just, my wife and we're in our 85, 87 years old. It's very disturbing to us to have to listen to this. We try to get out of town when we can, but not always able to do that. But I don't see why people think this is such a patriotic thing to do, is to scare the hell out of their dogs and pets and elderly people and supposedly veterans and people with PTSD. So anyway, we're just not too happy about all that's going on. And maybe it could be regulated and still have fireworks, but not have the dynamite explosions going on for 3 days from 6 until midnight at night. So anyway, I think everyone should read the editorial board's comments about fireworks in West Richland on the sheets I handed out. They make some good points.
Thank you, sir.
Dan Ritchie, 508 Austin Drive. I'm a Navy veteran. I'm as patriotic as anybody ever was. I love to set off fireworks and all that. One point I want to make, we live in a flipping desert. And so it's not a good combination. And so I do believe that there's other alternatives that are out there, and other cities are exercising those alternatives in a more controlled environment such that people can have their fireworks, celebrate the 4th, and at the same time not set fire to the desert. So I encourage us to find some alternatives. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ritchie. Is there anyone else present here that would like to make a comment this evening? All right, I will turn to our online attendees. Those of you who are attending the meeting online, if you'd like to provide a comment, please raise your virtual hand. The city clerk will unmute you and you will have 3 minutes to provide your comments. Please state your name and residence for the record. And if you need to, you can also press *9 to raise your hand via telephone. I do not see anyone online. Do you, Stephanie?
I'm sorry. It does look like we do have someone who has raised their hand.
See that. All right. I see Tamara Tanneman. I hope I've pronounced your name correctly. Please unmute yourself and give your name and residence, please.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, yeah, I'm Tamara Tanneman. I just recently moved from Dallas Road down to Blackwood, so my address is 6001 Blackwood Street. And I love fireworks. I do. I have a rescue dog, and I moved into this house on June 9th. And I had to start medicating her and quite frankly, myself, honestly. And again, it was kind of these mortar sounding things. I lived in this area off of Galena and Kilauea for several years before I moved out off of Dallas. And I was just so shocked at the cleanup. And I'm so thankful my house didn't start on fire. But I'm wondering if there is a way to really just kind of mandate that 1 day thing. And I understand that we don't have a lot of, city people to do that, but it would be so nice if we had just 1 day of it, where we could water down our houses and medicate our animals and just know that literally from 6 to midnight, that's what's going to happen. And start fining people, really a pretty good heavy fine for these people that are doing it outside of those times. That's what my thought would be. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else attending online who would like to make a comment? I see no one else at this time. Stephanie, do you concur?
I do not see anyone else. No.
Okay. All right. So I'll close the citizen public comment period and we'll move on to ordinances, resolutions, motions, and public hearings. Items 8A and B are a public hearing and an ordinance regarding an annexation of property located off of Rupert Road. Public Works Director Roscoe Slade. You will kindly present the staff report for Director Mendenhall, who's on vacation this week.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Brink. Yeah, I'm going to give it a shot here, so bear with me. So what you have before you, council, is a annexation of 4 parcels out on Rupert Road. These are parcels, they're lot 1 through 4 of short plat 2570. Earlier this year, you directed me to go through the motion to look at annexing city property. So 2 of those lots 1 and 3, are owned by the city of West Richland. This is our well 9. Our well 9 is located on lot 3. This property was included in our UGA, included into our UGA back in February of 2007. So it's been in our UGA. The city originally purchased the property back in 2001. Following council's authorization for me to pursue annexation, an application was submitted on January 4th. And what I did is reached out to the other 2 property owners, the Holtes and Woods, to see if they'd like to join in to annex into the city. And so they signed the petition, and this came back before council on March 18th is when council took action. And it was looking at the zoning and the adoption of a proportionate amount of the city's in debt. This moved forward through the After that, there was another form that had to be signed by the property owners. So the first form that was submitted was just a petition. Once council accepted the petition and it had to go through in a formal annexation form be submitted. And this time when it came back, one of the private property owners had a change of heart, did not want to sign. They were unsure whether they wanted to come in or not. The Holtes did sign. And what we're doing is outlined in RCW 35A 14120, utilizing the 60% petition method. So it doesn't require 100% of the property owners. Council can bring them all in, and what you have before you is a petition or an annexation form that was signed by 68% of the property owners based on assessed valuation is the thing. So you have more than the 60% needed. This went to the Planning Commission on July 10th, where it was discussed about bringing the property in, whether it should be just the 3 parcels, leaving the wood parcel out, or whether we bring all 4 in, and confirming what the recommended zoning. Since there's RM6 residential north of Rupert Road from this property, it's recommended to be RM6. At the Planning Commission, there was testimony from the Holtes in favor of bringing it in. The big discussion is, and recommended by staff, is to bring all the property in. And one of the big factors is, I can give you examples where we've had these type of annexations come in and we've allowed 1 or 2 parcels to stay out. And what does it cause? You've got a pot store on Arena Road because that was left out. You've got a junkyard car lot on West Latin Road because they're still in the county and those uses are allowed. So what staff's recommending is move forward and annex all these in to the city of West Richland so that all the properties are under the city's codes. So what you have before you is a motion. It's approved file ANX 2005-001 to annex all 4 parcels into the city of West Richland at the RM6 zoning, and include their proportionate share of the cities in debt. And so there was financial information that was provided to the property owners showing property taxes are pretty much a wash between the county and the city. The major benefit is they don't have the 50% surcharge on their water. Currently, we provide water service to both these properties, and that was part of the purchase and sale agreement back in 2001. So open to do the public hearing. I can answer any questions that council may have on this.
All right, thank you, Mr. Slade. So I will open a public hearing now on this matter at 6:38 p.m. We'll hear in-person comments and then virtual comments. If you're in the audience and wish to speak, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and once again, kindly limit your comments to 3 minutes. Is there anyone in-house who would like to speak on this topic? All right, seeing no one, I'll turn online to anyone attending virtually. Once again, those of you attending virtually who would like to comment, please raise your virtual hand. City Clerk will unmute you and you will have 3 minutes to provide your comments. Once again, I kindly ask that you state your name and residence. And if you're using a telephone, you can press *9. Stephanie, I do not see anyone online that wishes to make a comment. Do you?
I do not.
All right, seeing no one, I will close the public hearing at 6:38 p.m. Council, do I have a motion on this?
I move to approve ordinance 1925, an ordinance approving file number ANX 2025-001 to annex 4 parcels within the city's urban growth area into the city off Rupert Road and to establish a residential medium 6,000 zoning classification for said parcels based on the recommendations, findings, and conclusions of the Planning Commission and staff report.
All right, I have a motion and a second on the proposed annexation. Comments or questions? Start with you, Councilmember Bloom.
Mr. Slade, I believe I got an email from someone complaining about I believe was concerned about the water being drawn down by the city well being put there. Was that or was that Ms. Wood, or has any complaint, I mean, has Ms. Wood or the Woods decide why they didn't? They didn't come to the planning commission. They didn't come to the city council.
I reached out just to ask, and they just weren't sure it was a benefit. So they were kind of on the fence either way and decided not to go forward.
And they're not object.
So the concerns that we heard about private wells out in the county were associated with the Lewis and Clark Ranch master plan, North Rupert Road, and the Bluffs. And it's an ongoing thing from those property owners for the last 30 years. That's
Well, no,
But the
but
existing-
this water right was 2001.
so the
That
well was
predates me.
so the well that's on the city's property there was drilled. I don't know when it was drilled, but when we bought the property, there was an existing well. We bought the property and the water right in 2001 and converted the existing well into a potable city well.
All right, thank you.
Councilmember Smart.
Oh, yes, thank you. Mr. Slade, my question, you actually answered a bunch of them right at your last few comments, so I appreciate that. I was concerned also about what the reasons that the Woods might not want their property annexed, but you've covered the cost of water and so forth, and so I think that's all answered. My next question is, how was the determination to make this RM 6000 zoning? Is that just because the adjacent properties? Is that the idea?
Yeah, and I believe what's in our comp plan designation has it for the residential meeting, and being that RM6 is across the road, my understanding is that made sense to make it RM6.
And so then the other question is, when I look at the map, there's still a strip of land like between this little leg that goes south and the rest of the city. Did we look into that at all? Were any of those residents or owners interested?
Unfortunately, they're not in our urban growth boundary, so they can't annex into this this time.
Okay.
So, I tried to research back to 2007 to find out why they didn't come in, or why did we just take this sliver, and it's hard to find that back 18 years ago. But even if they wanted to, they can't. They'd have to first apply with the county to amend the urban growth boundary. Once they were in their urban growth boundary, then they can go through the annexation process.
So that's a responsibility that lies with the county process, not ours. Is that right?
It starts here, but goes through the county process. Yes.
So when we do our annual or biannual update of the GMA, is that some time that we could address this or think about it?
When they update the comprehensive plan that they're in the process now between this year and next, our update to our comp plan is going to be done by the end of 2026. So yeah, now's the time. As far as there's a timing, the county only looks at it every 5 years, and I'm not familiar with where their window hits, but.
Okay, I'm just suggesting that we put that on our wait to do list and just keep it on the agenda in case there's an opportunity there. Thanks. That's all I have. Thank you.
Councilmember Hayes.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Rosso, can you clarify for me? So if these guys have chosen now not to, what is going on around that area? What development? What is the rush to push them, or just to go ahead and do the annex to it? Could you explain that, please?
So in the past, cities taken counts when they've looked at annexations, they've had very similar things where you had a majority of the people that wanted to come in, and you had islands or individual lots that elected not to. And so they've only in the past did that. What that means though, is those uses now don't match the cities. So again, my example was when the annexation of that commercial property up on Kennedy and Arena, they didn't take it all in. They could have, and you ended up with a pot store because it's under the county rules. On West Latin, there was a parcel that was left off. The county allows car lots. And now I'm not talking selling new or used car lots. This is a junkyard. Okay. County allows different rules. They could allow pigs, large animals. So they're not conducive. So they're recommending you take the whole property in. It's in the city's best interest to annex all the property in so that it's under our rules, under thing and code compliance. I mean, think about it, Councilman May. What road are they using to access their house? Rupert Road, that's city road. Yet they're paying county taxes to the counties for their road system. What police are going to respond out there in an emergency? I mean, they're already having city water. You know, this is an opportunity. I mean, it's not a lot of property tax, but it's the best for the city to annex it in. That's why it was planned in the city's UGA to be annexed in the future.
Okay. Can you answer, so what, and so maybe I'm not up to exactly all the wording on everything, but what are they paid? When you annex it in, do you just take their property? Or are they paid something for that, or?
We're not taking anything. They're in the city limits, so they'd be under the city's municipal code for rules and regulations.
Okay,
As far as property taxes, there's some differences
yeah,
that you pay in the county that you don't pay in the city, but there's also some things in the city that you pay for that you don't in the county. With that said, it's about a wash as far as their property taxes. The two private properties, I think we looked at would save about $500 a year total between the two on their water bill. They'd get a residential rate rather than a county rate.
okay, thank you
So-
for explaining that, I appreciate it.
Councilmember Moran.
Thank you very much. Roscoe, thank you. You answered most of my questions with what you previously stated, but I'm wondering, I was trying to figure out which property is the one that hasn't signed yet? Is it the one that's closest to the road? Is it furthest? Is it in the middle?
It's the one in the back corner that's just east of the city's well.
Oh, the smaller one,
The smaller one, that is
the
correct.
tiny one.
That is correct.
Okay. And then, so to the east of that, that little strip is not part of the urban growth boundary. So what about to the south of that or to the west of that? Is that part of the urban growth? So we would just have a strip and that's it on that side of the road. I guess I'm trying to figure out why we as a city would benefit to annex them.
It's consistent with your comp plan and the urban growth boundary that council set in 2007.
So just because the plan says so.
That's what we follow.
No. I understand that. I just want to make sure that that's the benefit is not much to the city. And
They're
it would-
getting city services now.
right, which they
It's a
pay for.
No,
They don't pay for it even though they get the services?
they're not paying property tax to the city for our parks, our police service.
No, I mean the services. So they receive water from the city and
That's
they
it.
pay for that.
They pay for that.
And they don't receive waste removal, like trash removal from the city, do they?
It's contracted out, so Ed's Disposal does through the county.
Okay.
So any kind of county utility tax on that would go to the county and not the city.
Right. So it just, I'm wondering why, because there are others along Rupert also that are south, and I know they're not part of the urban growth boundary. The only reason I pause is because they didn't sign it, and I'm not sure how fair that would be because 2 of those 4 property owners are the city. So it just,
Again, the other properties on the south side of Rupert Road, back in 2006, 2007, elected not to go in the urban growth boundary. I can't speak to that. What I can speak to is it was brought into the urban growth boundary. You have a petition that was signed by all of them, and now you have a majority to annex into the city. So we're following the process. The Planning Commission's recommendation, staff's recommendation is to annex all 4 and not leave a single property island out there. It will cause issues. Maybe not today, but it will be tomorrow. And I've given you just a couple examples in the last few years when we have not annexed all the properties in and leave an island, what happens.
thank you.
All right, council, we have a motion before us, ordinance 19-25, annexation of city well and adjacent properties. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say no.
No.
No,
No votes from Councilmember Moran and Councilmember Hayes. Motion passes. We have no unfinished business this evening. We have no new business. So we'll move on to the second opportunity for council or citizen comment, excuse me. Once again, if you would like to make a public comment, please come to the podium, state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes to provide your comments. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to make public comment? Again or for the first time? All right. Seeing no one, is there anyone online who would wish to make a public comment? If so, please raise your virtual hand. City Clerk will unmute you, and you will have 3 minutes to provide your comments. Please begin by stating your name and city residence for the record. You may also press *9 if you're using a telephone. I see Ms. Brown. Go ahead, Ms. Brown.
Yeah, I was just curious about this annexation too, because the city approached them about annexing. So, they didn't come in and ask for it. One doesn't want it. And we have county land all the way around us. I mean, it's not like having that annexation is going to make it a pot shop. So I'm kind of with, some of the other ones that if they don't want it, they don't, why are you forcing them into this? That's my comment.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Is there anyone else attending online who wish to make some public comment? I don't see anyone further. Do you, Stephanie?
I do not, but I do have a couple of comments that were received that I will summarize that were requested to be read into the record. They were all sent to City Council prior to the meeting and are available for anybody who would like to request them through the City Clerk's office. One is from Anna Spinato, and she submitted comments regarding her concerns about the fire danger with fireworks. And the fact that we live in a desert and the concerns for the safety of her family. And the other comment that was received from Pat Carranza, and she had concerns regarding the 2 lanes turning east left onto Keene from bombing range and the stop bar that's located on Keene Road, and the concern that there's not enough room for 2 vehicles to turn side by side. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now turn to staff and council announcements, reports, and comments. I'll start with staff. Are there any staff members who would care to make a report? Wow, it's quiet over there tonight. Okay. Council members. Okay. Councilmember Moran.
Apologies. I had thought that there had been other emails that had asked to be read into the record, but maybe I'm incorrect. So I guess I will just say that for me, I have a Council of Governments board meeting that I will not be able to attend, and I appreciate our Mayor Pro Tem attending for me. But regarding some of the things that folks have stated during the comments section, I want to thank you all for emailing us, for coming to council. I encourage you to continue doing so. This year was the last straw for me, and I may have even said it last year, but I feel like each year keeps getting worse and worse when it comes to fireworks. And I think that I'll have to look at my notes, but my notes are really chicken scratch, so I can't remember exactly who had said it, but calling them bombs is exactly right. Where I live was very lucky in that I had only had one neighbor that decided to light off fireworks in the several blocks around me, thankfully. However, the ones that did were right next to me. And when they lit off fireworks, and luckily they did follow the rules regarding times, but it rattled the windows in my house, and I have a dog that has anxiety. I have been medicating her for $200 at least every 2 days for fireworks because that's how much it costs for a larger dog. And her anxiety was feeding into my anxiety that I have for a multitude of reasons. And then I found out the next morning that my neighbors had blown a hole through my fence and had the audacity to claim they knew nothing about it. And yet I have a box. Just this stuff right here, this is the big stuff that I found in my yard that's debris from their fireworks. There are a lot of other debris that they had left in my yard. They had said that they had picked it up, but the issue is when it comes to fireworks, I have heard multiple people say there is no way to ban that. And while I understand what you're saying, I do also say that that's why laws are made. We make laws about speeding because we don't want people to speed. You can't get rid of it entirely, but you can at least have people fined or even arrested if they're going much far over the speed limit for doing so. I feel like we have discussed multiple times, and as a council, we have asked to discuss changing the fireworks code several months ago. I can't remember exactly when it was, but we have had a lot of other things that have had precedence, and it feels like every time we are kicking the can down the road when it comes to fireworks. And I am absolutely exhausted by it. We had 3 major fires, and I have spoken with several people who have had fires either on their property or on the property next to them where it endangered them or their family. And I appreciate everything that they have said to me and completely agree. It is absolute nonsense that we live in a desert with the heat that we have, the low humidity we have, and we allow anybody that can pay for it to buy fireworks. And when we talk about allowing that they don't allow aerials in Richland and Pasco and Kennewick, well, it's not just Toppenish that they're getting them from, they're getting them from us. And with the multitude of fireworks stands that we have, I hope with all in my heart that the reason that the city doesn't allow this many fireworks isn't because we like the money coming in from sales tax. I hope that's not the case because I would hope that we would put safety of our people over money. One of the reasons, and I believe one of the people in the audience said it earlier, one of the reasons that we are on council here is to help make certain that our people are safe in the city. And when they talk about insurance, I'm curious if that has, I'm also concerned about that too. If that's something that's happening in Benton City, I would imagine it's probably going to happen here. And I'm really concerned about somebody deciding that they are going to say that because the city has decided to allow it, that the city may become liable for property damage. So I'm hoping that as a council, we can get our crap together and figure out something, whether it's just removing or limiting, as I believe Mr. Bloom had asked before, the amount of charge so that it doesn't have the massive explosion behind it with the concussion that comes with it, which is exhaustingly terrifying. But I also know that even if we get rid of that, there's still aerials. And if we get rid of just aerials, there's still the ground ones. And the ground ones have sparks right next to the ground where all of that tinder is, where it can catch fire. I'm hoping that we've spoken with subject matter experts about fire, about emergency response. And I don't feel like as a council, we have heard from the fire department. I know that the mayor has, but the council itself hasn't, and I would like to hear from the fire department as a council. So I have a feeling that I've spoken well past what some might like, so I will just leave it at, I really hope we're ready to do something about it, because since it's not going to affect next year's 4th, we need to look at 2 4ths from now. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Moran. Councilmember Stoker.
Mayor Pro Tem. So I do have a couple of things. First off, it's always wonderful to see people here. I appreciate all your input. I know maybe some might think that we're not paying attention, but I'm taking notes of everyone's comments. I do this at every meeting. So even though maybe my head is down, that doesn't mean I'm not listening and not paying attention. I can certainly understand and accept the premises that have been brought up. Now, I was out of town this year again. Last year, 2 years in a row, I've been out of town on the 4th on Independence Day. I was up in Kashmir. Chelan is a no fireworks county altogether. We hadn't planned on hearing fireworks, and we did. So my pets, we didn't have things to medicate them because we expected that if it's a ban, we're not going to have to bother with it, but we did. And I had to sit with my rescue pit bull and help calm her through the night. So, I mean, I grew up in North Franklin County. I went to high school in Connell, so I frequent the Connell What's Happening in Connell Facebook page, and they were complaining about fireworks being set off, and fireworks aren't allowed there either. So, bans, again, for the most part, they may help a majority of the people, but there's still going to be people who set them off. And if you ban the aerials, so I was part of the fireworks selling group for 9 years. I haven't done it for a few years now, but I could tell the difference usually between a firework that's set off that was purchased at Toppenish and what has been purchased from our stands. So you may think that it's not going to be that much, but they're still doing it and they will. Moses Lake is also reopened back up again and is allowing aerials. So you can go to Moses Lake now too, not just Toppenish, to get your aerials if we ban those here. So I would actually like to see what the real numbers are, not the real data, not what do they call it? Firsthand accounts, as it were. Anecdotal, that's the word. I remember one year where Richland had 2 homes burned down, and they don't allow aerials. They were allowing the ground stuff. So I don't know. It's a struggle. People have one opinion, other people have another opinion. On a different topic, what I wanted to also bring up, sorry. I brought this up with our temporary chief, Crown. There is a property in our community that has a lot of junk on the property, a lot of junk. I have pictures from an associate. He sent me another text tonight saying, when is the city council going to do something about this? They've had the code enforcement officer there. We've had police officers go there. He says he came home from a 3-week vacation and has found more cars. He says there's 13 cars parked along the street of this particular property. I have pictures showing there are beds and couches and more cars parked on the property. It's just terrible. I think some of the feedback I got was that, yeah, it's a nuisance code issue, but we don't really have any teeth in it for the officers to do something about it. So I would like to say that we really need to do something to make this have teeth in it so that, this can be addressed. I mean, one of the comments made here is he says that he moves many of the cars 6 inches so that he can comply with the law. So I'm not trying to complain here, but I'm kind of getting tired of hearing about it too. I'm sure the police officers are as well, and everyone else who's been engaged in this effort. So I would like to see us do something about this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Stoker. Councilmember Hayes.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I would like to say with the comments made already, Kate's, we're right on. We got to make a change. This can't keep going on. And this was by far the worst year I think that West Richland has seen, and it's got to stop. We got to listen. We got to listen to the voice of the people. We have to take it into account, and there's no reason we can't listen to the people and work on a solution together. Let's put a set committee together that we're going to focus on this and we're going to bring it around, and we can make change step by step and through the years. But if we don't do anything, we're right back to where we were last year, the year before. So let's get together and let's work together, and let's let the voice of the people and the voice of council be there for everyone so we can work together. There's no reason we've allowed this to get to this level. It's ridiculous, and we got to move forward and be strong with it. And I think with the public, and I'm a resident here, everybody is a resident here to sit on city council. Where is the money going? How much was brought in? Everybody deserves to know. What program does that go into? I think everybody should know everything about fireworks. Let's be honest. Let's just get behind and be honest and be accountable for who we are. We're sitting up here. We got to be accountable to you. You elected us. If we're not accountable to you, then who are we? So I say, let's get together and let's do something, and let's make the change. And it might not be the very first year, but we have all these, put things in step by step. We can make it happen. Together is best. On a lighter note, I would like to say that the Veteran Cemetery, that project is moving forward. We're still with the two projects, one in Richland and one in West Richland. And we're working toward getting all the issues resolved with each project. But we are definitely having a veteran cemetery in this region. And I'm appreciative of the city and the time they put in with Olympia VA and what they've put together. I'm appreciative of the city of Richland, what they're doing, because it doesn't matter the exact location where it's at. Naturally, I would like it in West Richland, but it's in our region. And we have over 46,000 veterans in our region that need one home to go to. So let's provide that for them. So many people are for it. Let's back this. Let's keep moving forward and make it happen for this region. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Councilmember Hayes. Councilmember Bloom.
Yes, 4 years ago, I provided what I'm handing over to the other council members, a summary of suggestions of how to address fireworks, which
Your mic is.
my mic's not working. Okay, I handed over to the mayor suggestions on how to address fireworks. And I went out on the 4th of July, drove through the city, going through the various neighborhoods, listening to the issues. And there were obviously some fireworks that weren't sold locally. But I suggested a permit system, and the permit system would be the onus of the fireworks vendors. And the permit system would be only issued to the owner, and the owner would be the only one that could purchase the fireworks. That would definitely reduce some of the issues, some of the profitability of some of the fireworks stands. I believe we're providing fireworks for the entire Tri-Cities in West Richland. 16, I was amazed at 16 fireworks stands. I drove around it this year. But there are, personally, this one says I can set off fireworks in my 1 acre pasture, irrigated pasture without a concern. But my alpaca didn't mind it a bit. But the rest of the cities, some of it is not appropriate. And a lot of fireworks being set off in the middle of the street. We have trees hanging over the street. There are a lot of issues out there, safety issues. So, but, you know, banning fireworks, like Ms. Aldridge suggested, it's not going to work. I will say that in my 25 years of being in West Richland and watching, we've gone from rockets, which go up and come back down flaming, which always were causing fires, to the aerials, which originally didn't bring all the little cardboard pieces down that they are now. They're getting a little strange, but I do think we can somehow mitigate the issue. You know, there is a lot of evidence that a lot of fires are caused by the Safe and Sane because everybody thinks there's nothing that's going to happen as it runs off into the brush and starts a fire. So I agree with what was said. There has to be better education, but the education has to come with a two-edged sword to the right person and their responsibility. And I agree with what was said about selling fireworks to 16-year-olds. I don't think that's appropriate as such. So these are some of my thoughts from 4 years ago. Look them over. We can have further discussions, but that was it.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember Bloom. Councilmember Fetto.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all for coming. Again, I did take notes as well. Ms. Golovich, so I'd say it right. I watched that video terrified, and I was sitting in my home several days later, watching that fire grow from a spark coming to the property line. Yeah, it was horrifying. So I understand, and I've had a conversation with, an email conversation with Anna Spinato, same thing with them. I can imagine that was a very restless night, especially her description of having to leave her kids in bed and go outside with the hose. And I said this last year, it's time to talk about making some changes. I know we're going to have a meeting September 2nd. Is that correct? And Fire Chief Carlisle will be here to talk about what the fire department has discovered in their stats. So I'm sure we'll have this conversation again in a month or two. So other than that, so last 2 weeks ago, maybe it was last week, it's all a blur. I was contacted through the chamber from KNDU about West Richland being voted the second best town to live in the United States by Travel and Leisure magazine. That was on KNDU with Noelle Anderson. She's her parents live on just on the other side of Dallas. Fantastic award. I would call it award recognition of the city of West Richland. That basically was housing and the safety of the city were the two big drivers of that. The chambers we're pushing up the Wednesday and West. So we're gonna amp this thing up. So we're having a live bands for the rest of the year. July 30th, August 13th, August 27th. Bobby from the Shades and Faith Martin on the 30th. Gentleman Liam Ross, he's a Ed Sheeran type. He loops some music and plays behind it. Will be on the 13th, and then the knockoffs on the 27th. In the process of getting our beer garden license approved, I got the one for August 27th approved. That came in today. The July 30th, I talked to him, should be here in the next day or two. So we'll have a beer garden, tons of food, flat top park, Wednesday, July 30th, August 13th, August 27th, from 4:30 until we shut the place down, actually dusk, 8 o'clock or so. And then finally, 3 weeks ago, several of us attended the AWC annual conference that was here in Kennewick this year. Fantastic event. It's always great networking with other city council members, from neighboring towns and, even across in the wet side of the state. But this year, we're honored to see Mayor Pro Tem Brink nominated, voted, and the president of AWC for this coming year. He's done a great job with the organization, very involved. Talked with some past presidents at the event that had nothing but great things to say about working with Fred over the years that he's been involved. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And that's all I got. Thank you.
Councilmember Smart.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So I will also just comment in case I need to defend my looking down at the table that I'm also taking lots of notes, both here, and I ran out of paper and had to start doing it on my phone. Also note to the audience that we use these to look at our agenda and council materials. So when you see us looking down at the table, a lot of times we're reading information or emails or things like that. So this is a listening exercise and we hear you. I wanted to mention, I'm going to refrain from all the possible comments on fireworks, but I will say that there are a couple of laws that everyone should be aware of in Washington State and the city of Richland, West Richland. I'll read them very quickly. First one is West Richland Municipal Code 9.36.020. It is unlawful for any person willfully and without lawful authority to fire, set off, or discharge any bomb, gun, pistol, or firearm of any kind in the city. Exceptions are police officers while on duty, etc. And the second one that's worth mentioning is similar but may need modification, because I do not think it is right for a person that people do not have a right to launch objects into somebody else's property. They just do not. It's a long standing. When I lived in Richland and was a kid and I had a BB gun and I would shoot it in the backyard, and my parents realized that, gee, I wonder if we're going to get in trouble for letting the kids shoot a BB gun in the backyard. It's like the rules at that time were that if a BB lands on your neighbor's property and they take offense of that, they can hold you liable in a misdemeanor or something like that for having an arrow or a BB land on somebody else's yard. Well, we have a rule here in West Richland that is Municipal Code 9.36.030, and it's titled The Discharging of Air Guns, Bows, and Arrows. But it's really similar to the problem we have here with fireworks landing on people's property. I mean, if you want to set your own property on fire, hope you got good insurance. But if you set your neighbor's property on fire, you should be held liable for that. It's my humble opinion. And this code says it's unlawful for any person to shoot or discharge any air pistol, air rifle, or other air gun, or bow and arrow, or crossbow recklessly, and I would add to this, firework, with or without the intent to do bodily injury to another or to destroy or damage property. For the purpose of this section, a person shall be presumed to have acted recklessly or with intent to do bodily injury to another person or to destroy or damage property when it is shown that any pellet, arrow, like projectile has struck, lodged, or otherwise been carried onto public property or private property owned by any person or other than the person discharging the said device. I summarized the last sentence. Okay, so those laws exist. There's also a law in the code, I don't have my finger on it right now, for reckless burning. Actually, I think that is a Washington State code. And I do have that. It's RCW 98.48.050, reckless burning in the second degree. A person is guilty of reckless burning in the second degree if he or she knowingly causes a fire or explosion, whether on his or her own property or that of another, and thereby recklessly places a building or other structure or any vehicle, railway car, aircraft, or watercraft, or any hay, grain, crop, or timber, whether cut or standing, in danger of destruction or damage. You know, you're just not allowed to set other people's property on fire. Now, so I'm not bifurcated here. I actually appreciate our right to celebrate the 4th of July as we see fit, but I am absolutely against setting off bombs in our city, and I'm absolutely against lighting other people's property on fire. So I agree we should meet on this. We should have a workshop. We're spending a lot of time on a council meeting, which is fine and appropriate, but we need a workshop on this, I would agree. And I've heard ideas suggested like, can we work with the school district to open up, Enterprise Middle School field and just go ahead and make a big old mess out there and then figure out how to clean it up? Because it's irrigated, it's nice and green, it's not going to catch on fire, right? And it would be sort of a city display. I would probably draw the line at banning aerial fireworks. I don't want to do that, but I would like to give people the opportunity to launch them in a safe environment. And a safe environment, that's what we used to do. I mean, that happened all the time in Richland as a kid growing up. People would go to a big open park or a big open schoolyard and launch their fireworks there because they didn't want to mess up their neighbor's property. So I think there are potential solutions. We can, give people the opportunity to be safe, and maybe at the same time not infringe on their, God-given American rights to celebrate the 4th of July as they see fit. But I also would encourage and demand personal responsibility. And I like the idea of education. I like the idea of maybe education at point of sale. I've said for years, I'd love to see every high school student in Richland and West Richland be required to learn the simple physics of aerials going up, wind blowing, and coming back down. They don't come down in the same place you launch them. To me, that's just basic common sense, but for some people, they might have to be taught. So those are the end of my comments, but I appreciate the conversation. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Smart. I'll just wrap up with a few comments, if I may, as well. We had 12 individuals speak tonight on fireworks. Many of you sent email messages to me. I hope I responded to you. If you sent a message, if you did not get a response, I will check my spam folder. But I make a point of responding to every email that I get. That's one of the things I personally take pride in. I wish to just say, as Councilmember Fetto did, that as I'm one of your fire commissioners as well for Benton County Fire District 4, I did coordinate with Chief Carlisle. He will be here on September 2nd for that council meeting to provide a presentation with regard to the number of calls and the other factors that he had to respond to on July 4th. So he will be here that evening. And finally, I just one or two other things. We have National Night Out on August 5th. We're not having a council meeting. Please come to that in Flat Top Park. It's a great event if you haven't been to it before. Bombing Range, excuse me, at Bombing Range. Please come to that if you haven't been to that before. And lastly, I just want to recognize a few other individuals, especially my fellow council members. We recognize there are several issues here that need to be addressed in one manner or another, ranging from fireworks or ranging perhaps to code issues or other topics that we talked about tonight. We decide the policy of the city, the 7 of us. If we want to do it, we're going to hold a workshop. So just remember that collectively, that's our responsibility. So let's do it. As Councilmember Hayes said, we will set the priorities for the city. We will set the ordinances for the city, and we will take into account all the factors that are necessary in order to protect our citizens here, because I personally think that we can do something better with fireworks. We haven't addressed the issue yet. It's been pushed down the road, as Councilmember Moran has said. We need to step up, set aside some time, and just tell city staff that we want this addressed. And that's what it is. We set the policy. So if we want to do that collectively, let's do it. And other than that, thank you all for being here. Privileged to be your Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you. Have a good evening. I'll adjourn the meeting at 7:24.